My name's CirstenW. I am from Singapore originally. My father was chairman of the Singapore Stock Exchange CDL hotel chain, and he owned the second largest stockbrokers company. My mom was the attorney in charge of land and titles. Basically, I started my political career, which I'll get to, by being asked to go on InfoWars by Alex Jones to talk about the economy. Since I guess I'm Chinese. Anyway, so he's like, okay. So I did 3 shows on InfoWars about Obamacare and how Obama crash, about how the Fed only raised the interest rate on Obama twice in 8 years, and they've raised, it on Trump at that time already three times in 1 year. So it's going down. The economy has to correct or kind of crash every 8 years to have a healthy economy. And it now has not crashed in like 10 years. So it's going to go. And our POTUS has to keep it up by using the Treasury Department to buy up the stocks like the deep state has been doing all along. And before he switches us over to the gold standard, and I will get to Scott Presler at the very end and what he does. I can sum that up in like a few sentences. So let me get all this else out. So basically, we have started to switch over to the gold standard as of March this year. We will be switched over from fiat currency to the gold standard probably by 2001, March 2001. If you are not switched to gold or whatever, I think you might be losing about 30% of your net worth of your fiat currency. So I would really consider that. Now I'll get back to what I do. I have a Q channel, CirstenW, CirstenW. I used to have 20,000 subscribers, but of course now I'm down to 15,000 because YouTube has called me hate speech, basically, because like my partner Laura Loomer on Fox Radio, we got suspended off of Twitter within 1 week of each other for hate speech. She's Jewish and I'm Chinese, so we're really very racist, and that's the way it goes. Basically, we are permanently suspended and we will not be back. And so my channel's now very suppressed, and I will talk a little bit more about that. Basically, I'm an activist. I go and I speak at different places, and I'm Singaporean American, so when Obama did take over, I knew it was going to be bad. So, if you have means, you basically have more than one passport. So I did leave for the whole time he was president. I bought a house in New Zealand. I lived between Singapore and New Zealand. It was good. Okay, so basically, hate speech is what a liberal government calls Trump supporters, and because we cannot freely express ourselves because it's not politically correct. Before, you couldn't say black, then you couldn't say African American, now you're back to black again. So it's a little confusing. The Russian hoax has collapsed, basically, so we just have the speaking points. Racism, sexism, misogynist, hate speech. And of course, conspiracy theory, Q. And now they've taken down Q off of 8chan because of the shootings. And basically, the shootings are, I want you to take the first alphabet and say it after me. I'll say the whole word and you say the first alphabet. Clowns in America. Okay. Clowns in America events. Multiple shooters, one patsy. Massive drug running. They started the Clowns in America in the 1940s from Prescott Bush. He was getting funds to support the Nazis in the 1940s by selling heroin to Harlem. It's since continued to gun running, drug trafficking, human trafficking, murder, and you know, I'll go to San Francisco right now, Kamala Harris. You know how corrupt she is. She's funded by Planned Parenthood. She's also funded by the CCA, which is Mr. Impeach, 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 Crazy Tom Steyer, that I think is a retard, but his money's pretty much gone, okay? And so he funds her through the putting people in prison. She puts a lot of innocent people in prison, and she gets paid to keep them there longer. And talking about, you know, the attachment is two people that were against her. It was basically her, Jeff Addy, San Francisco public defender, who died of a heart attack the same way as Mayor Ed Lee died of a heart attack. Stomach problems and then a heart attack. Same way. That would be from the ice gun from the clowns in America. They've had that weapon for a very long time. You can get a natural brain hemorrhage. You can get, you know, going to look natural. Okay, they're in charge, basically. They're the hitmen for the big families, like, as you know, our Federal Reserve is not federal. There's nothing federal about it. The left always does a play on words. If they say it's federal, it's definitely not federal. It's owned by the Rothschilds, a private company, the second layer of the deep state. The first layer was taken down by Donald J. Trump, the House of Saud, worth $600 trillion. That was Prince Alawid for the House of Saud, who was arrested because during the Vegas shooting, another CIA event, multiple shooters, one Patsy, Paddock, who was a gun runner for the CIA for 20 years. That's how he made his money. We also have present-day Epstein. How did that person that's totally uneducated make his money? His island was not just for the pedophiles. His island is a storage of drugs from heroin from Afghanistan, basically cocaine from South America, and pharmaceuticals from China. They store and they distribute. That's a $1 trillion business. Because you know the Mexican cartels basically ship, you know, into the United States, and they get to take home $146 billion a year just from selling drugs to the United States. And of course, we have Nancy Pelosi, who was during the Google party this past weekend, meeting with the wife of El Chapo, because he did mention two names and they made it a closed court. He mentioned Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff. The same Adam Schiff that was given, as Trump tweeted, little Adam Schiff, enjoy your $7.8 million. $7.8 million for covering up 2 Standard Hotel employees killed in a helicopter crash, murdered, killed in a helicopter crash, to prevent them from talking about the pedophiles bringing in the children from the port of Long Beach into the Standard hotels. Then we have, of course, if you look at my channel, you can see Ray Chandler, former child prostitute turned child handler. She became a madam. And of course, you know, Epstein, his girlfriend, was a madam, just Lane Maxwell. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to go more into, I have attention deficit and dyslexia, so my mind travels like nothing else, so I'm just going to go with it. If you can bear with me, that's the way it goes, okay? Okay, let's talk about the liberals. They're interested in their equality, which is and their justice, which is injustice. The conservatives were interested in our freedom and our liberty. It's totally different. And of course, they have the Justice Democrats that were discovered by Sakat Chabathian, who is dropped out as Occasional Cortex's manager now because of campaign fraud, $3 million, okay? Okay, so to block the Midwest from getting any help, any financial help at all. Also, we have California, the illegal hellhole of California, that got $3.5 billion to build that train, which they embezzled that money and are not giving it back. How's that? We have Detroit, who is an abandoned city. Most of the drug dealers there have moved over to Chicago, which is basically the largest shooting range in America. And some of those people, this long story, are the ones that killed Seth Rich. Okay? Okay. We have Los Angeles, which has typhus from the rats, that basically they are so crazy, they want to get feral cats to catch the rats with the typhus, which are from the homeless. They have about 300,000 homeless in Los Angeles, and basically the government is paying them $4,000 per homeless. So if you have 10 of them per month, so 10 of them, how much is that? Figure it out. They're also giving $5,000 a month for the illegals, which are 65% of the population in California. That state is done. $2.3 trillion in debt, but yet they have private PACs that have $15,000 trillion in them, which could fund the whole state for 50 years, but they don't mention that, of course. And so we have San Francisco, another dem city. Basically feces and needles everywhere, okay? And of course, the guy that was picked to take care of San Francisco was picked by Mayor Willie Brown, who picked Kamala Harris, his mistress, whose father hates her and tells everyone that they are slave owners in Jamaica. And she is extremely corrupt. And she was exposed by Tulsi Gabbard on the Democratic debates. She was speechless for once, okay? Okay, and then we have, of course, the lady that talked first, Broward County, the most corrupt county in Florida. We have 4 attorneys trying to indict Debbie Wasserman Schultz, found murdered. The attorneys were so afraid no one else dared to indict her. You have 3 Broward sheriffs found dead days after the Parkland shooting. That again, multiple shooters, 1 patsy. Cruz, who never fired a shot. How's that? Okay? Okay. Basically, I'm going so quickly because I'm kind of wired right now. Okay, I think my time's up, right, John?
Just about. Any other questions, though, before Kirsten? Any other questions for Kirsten?
Yeah, what's your channel? Where can we find that?
Kirsten, CirstenW. Subscribe and resubscribe and re-notify, because they'll take you off. They'll ask you why you like this channel, and it's hate speech, but it's just a nice Singaporean girl that's wealthy. No, I'm just kidding. There you go. Is that it? No questions? Thank you.